Hi, I'm Panda Hershey, and I work with entrepreneurs using astrology to make strategic decisions and take day to day actions so that their businesses and their personal lives are in sync with the natural energetic flow of the universe. Welcome to the November 6th Coffee and Charts call, where we talk about how you might be feeling caught between a rock and a hard place and needing to find a path forward over the next 2 months. Listen to our conversation so you'll know what to do day by day, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay. Hey. Oh, Carolyn, welcome. Welcome. So great to have you. So, um, this is Coffee and Charts. This is kind of my 2 week outlook call that I just do I do it twice a month for about 20 minutes. That's the goal, just to let you have a sense of where things are going. And it's a great time to ask questions. There's always time at the end, and we'll be walking through some slides. So great to have you. All right, I'm going to start sharing my slides here. So today is November 6th. If you are here in the US, the election is over, and yeah, you now know something that you didn't know before of how things are going to move forward. And it's like this was the missing piece, perhaps, that you needed before you could say, all right, now I'm ready to put my game plan together and figure out what the rest of the year should look like. And it also affects how I move into 2025. But if you were kind of waiting for that one piece, you may have gotten it yesterday. But where are we right now? And Carolyn, it's your first time. So great to have you. What you're going to see is a snapshot of every day, like a visual of how the planets are moving from the Earth's perspective. And just to orient you, these are like the constellations or the astrological signs: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, all the way around like that. And the planets generally move in this counterclockwise direction. So as I tick day by day, you'll see them move. The moon especially is a great one to watch because it moves so quickly. And you'll see here's the sun this is the sign of Scorpio, moving about a degree a day. So there are 360 degrees in a circle, 365 days in a year. So it's a little less, but it's about that. And right now, let's see, nothing is moving backwards yet. So it won't be obvious, but during a retrograde, when we get into November 25th until December 15th, here is Mercury. It will get this far into Sagittarius and start to move back. And that's always fun to watch. And so I'm going to talk through day by day what's going on and then weave it together into a story that hopefully is helpful for you to think about the next couple of weeks. So before we get started, what happened yesterday is that Venus here, this pink line, just left the area of the sky where Mercury will be going back and forth. And the energy of Venus is about taking things in, receiving. And if it is about receiving this ideas, Sagittarius is about learning something new or sharing what you know, seeing what the world has to offer to brighten or widen your perspective. What ideas came in? What things did you make notes about or notice in terms of gaps in your perspective, things you need to learn, things you need to find out about? How did you fill someone else's fill someone else's blank spots? and give them some ideas of things they need to think about over November and December. So that just finished. And as we'll see, the Mercury portal opens tomorrow. So that's kind of where we're at. Notice also, this is a huge energy right now. Mars is about commitment. Mars is not neutral. It's about putting your heart into something. And notice it's over here, opposite where this is Pluto, where we are doing everything we can to do something. I consider it our New Year's resolution for the year. And it is about taking our lives to the next level. And if you're putting your heart into something that is opposite of where you're trying to go long term, it feels like a stretch. It feels impossible. It feels like being stuck between a rock and a hard place. And that's kind of where we're at. This has happened before in two recent periods. One was 2008 during the financial crisis. The other was 1938. And I think we're a little familiar with what that time frame was like. So that is what we're dealing with until April of next year. It's the 7-month journey of figuring how to get out of this rock and hard place. Okay, so, and that's where Mercury comes through to give us the path forward, which is what I'm so hopeful for. So tomorrow is the day that the Mercury portal opens. And it's time to make notes between now and November 25th of ideas that come to you. Fresh ideas for filling those gaps in your awareness, any blind spots that you become aware of, trying to fill them, learning something or sharing your wisdom with someone else. But it is time to jot down all those ideas. And it occurred to me today that if you are trying to do something in your business, or if you are in a competitive situation, it's time to watch what the other side is doing. What can you learn from what someone else is doing that gives you an idea of what you can do? So think about that as well. These are all ways to fill your gaps in awareness so that you aren't blindsided. And kind of, I don't want to say quiet, but right on the 10th, Mars is exactly opposite Pluto. So it's like the tension will be the highest. And actually, I'm sorry, that was earlier. This is Mars being at the end of this opposite the end of where Pluto is traveling this year. And so I like to think of this as everything since last Friday to this Friday is about what you've put your heart into that feels like work you're going to have to work on for, until about April. Let's see it. I don't think I worded this well. And let me see if I've got my notes here. And I know I reworded this. So if you take last week's efforts collectively and consider this as like your minimum level of getting stuff brain freeze of progress, of how far you can get. Like, can you make that like what you focus on? And think about this until the 10th of how do I get to show what I have to offer and have it received. It's not going to feel like much, but there's some minimum level of like, am I being heard? Am I being attended, being paid attention to? My gosh, I'm having complete brain freeze here. So that you don't feel ignored. So I will send out an email about this because I'm gonna I'm gonna get this worded right. Is this making sense at all? It's like it just figure out the minimum level of like, I'm feeling appreciated for what I do. And this will, if I can always have this, then it will be okay. Then I can like continue on my journey to keep fighting for more, trying to get more, but recognizing I won't get everything I want. But there's like some minimum threshold that is acceptable. I'm going to have to reword that.
Can you hear me, Panda?
Yeah. Go ahead, Allie.
So you're saying, I'm just trying to understand too. So what you're saying is from last Friday, of course I was away, last Friday to this Friday, we've been working on something we put our heart into. And you're saying, what is the minimum threshold for us to feel that that's acceptable for us to move forward through April to get our stuff done? Is that right?
Yes. To say that um, I'm feeling appreciated for what I bring to the table. I'm not being ignored. Um, I have a seat at the table, one, for the conversation, and that I get to be included in moving things forward.
So it's about feeling included in what's the minimum, not
Yeah,
necessarily expecting. I mean, obviously it's great if there's more, but just
yeah,
enough to keep us going.
right. Yeah, because as Mars, the Mars portal moves to about 6 degrees, but that's outside of where this Pluto energy is to make things change. So it's almost like um, people are going to push too far. I think there will be a level of potential cockiness to the extent that you think you're winning, but they will hit a wall in December and things will have to walk back. I don't know what that event is, but that's just how the energy works, just like we all hit those walls with the Mercury retrograde. And so watching for that and seeing, that's more than they can actually get done this year is kind of the things to think about. I don't want to, I can try and push and make my voice known of over the next few years, this is what I want to see happen. But the minimum threshold is going to show up like in up until the 10th. So does that does that help a little bit? I think we'll have to get there to figure it out completely.
So you're saying the minimum threshold, we're feeling whatever that minimum threshold is up until the 10th, which is what, 4 days away. So it's not like we're
Yeah.
establishing that two
Yeah.
weeks out or something. Okay.
No, no. So watch the rest of this week. Like, where am I? Who is paying attention to me and listening to me? Understands what I have to offer? Where am I feeling heard, um, and included, and um, be part of the change going forward? And so look for that because these are, and who are you appreciating as well, right? Who is aligned with you and is offering something that you need to help the change. So that kind of thing, because it works in both directions. So this week is key for that. Next, the next day, which is the 10th, God, is that Saturday? Uh, the Mercury will be opposite the end of the Jupiter portal, or I'm sorry, opposite the start of the Jupiter portal. So for about a week, think about what you learned over the summer and how you grew your awareness. And for about a week, how is it all coming together into a bigger picture that is your way forward? So just think about that mid-July to early October timeframe. How did you grow your awareness? And how are you using that to formulate a bigger picture that is going to help you move forward? And this is going to happen throughout the um, Mercury portal, that you'll keep coming back to this idea of how do I use what I learned to um, uh, find a way forward. I mean, I'm going to take the Democrats as an idea. back in the summer, so much excitement, right? So much for them. And I think it will be a time of reflection of, okay, now what do we do? What was working for us back then? How do we put that together and figure out a way forward? And that's a more like easier example for us to think about. On the 14th, the sun, the doing, your mindful action, is opposite this Uranus in Taurus. And the Uranus energy this year has about shifting completely how we show up. We've changed dramatically since May and just cumulatively. But there's some big feelings that go along with that. And if you had some tough conversations from October 28th to the 31st last week, this is the time to follow up on them, to act mindfully on those. If you guys had discussions of we need to try this, we need to think about this, okay, here's the time that we do that. But doing it in a way that is mindful of the other person's feelings. And this is probably pretty intense. I do think it's connected to both the changes that we're going through and how life is changing, as well as the way forward. And it may feel, frankly, quite, I have a couple examples here. If someone got promoted, for example, at a job, or if someone is losing their capabilities physically, then acting with sensitivity to how they are feeling about it, if they are recognizing what's going on, then that will be a time, from the 14th to the 18th, a time to act with care and with compassion, frankly, about how everyone is dealing with these changes. On the 15th, Saturn, right here in Pisces, will start to move forward. And Saturn is about discernment, narrowing, and it is uh, it will be about being selective about who gets it and who is understanding that the journey that you're on and is going to be part of your team in this new life that's coming. So think about that as well. You have 3 months to let people go for a while. It doesn't have to be permanently, but to really discern, you've got a lot of work to do and you need people around you who, quote, get it. And then on the 16th, Sun is exactly opposite Uranus. That may be a day where you're doing something that is particularly possibly difficult, but can be a wonderful thing if you make that connection in terms of um, collaborating and being so sensitive to the other person's feelings. And then, and I'm going to run over on the 18th, Mercury is exactly opposite Jupiter. A good day to think about, when you might be reminded of what you learned over the summer. And the sun finishes moving across from that Uranus portal in Taurus. So deep sensitivity to the feelings of the people that you're working with. And then on the 19th, Pluto enters Aquarius. And that means that the structures that we've become so used to begin to start falling away permanently for our lifetimes. Now, it doesn't actually start showing up all the way until like January. So I've talked about it as before as like you can still hop on the fast boat and get zipped out to the ship that's already set sail. So that this is like 2 months to get that figured out. Okay. So you have 2 months to, once you kind of see how things are shaking out, to get everything together and be ready for that. And we meet again on the 20th. So I'm going to go back and let you guys just watch it. I'm going to stop talking and you can just watch everything move. All right, here we go. All right. So over the next 2 weeks, it's time to start looking for that path forward throughout November and December. And between tomorrow until the 25th, this is the time to develop your ideas and also consider how your expanded awareness from the summer can supply some of the details that you need to find that path forward. Over the next 2 weeks, if you had those intense discussions at the end of October, this is the time to do some follow-up and act on it and be very sensitive to the other person's feelings. Chances are you need to keep collaborating with them, so you don't want to burn any bridges. And their input, frankly, is crucial to finding the path. And with Pluto moving into Aquarius, there will be this tectonic shift that takes place, largely over 20 years, but it begins within the next 2 weeks and solidifies and becomes very obvious by mid-January, January 20th, as a matter of fact. And so it is really time to get to work with the people who get it. This is about finding your dream team, and just the rest of the people who don't get it, you can let them go for now. Doesn't mean you're not going to reconnect with them, but for now, you got a ton of work to do, and you only have so much energy. Take care of yourself and be with those who get it.
And Panda, sorry, what day? Oh, here it is. Sorry, I was going to say, what is the day that Pluto starts the
The
tectonic?
19th.
Okay.
The 19th. So Mars opposite that Pluto portal was from the 2nd to the 10th. My brain still can't figure out what those exact days of the week are. It was exact at 29.8 degrees of Cancer when Mars moved into Leo. So if you are feeling stuck between a rock and a hard place related to a major shift in your life, this is that energy. And so how are you just compelled to go in the opposite direction from where you need to be in the long term? So if you're feeling like, oh, I'm compromising in some way, or I'm moving backwards, this actually is probably part of the way to get to the next level. And you just have to hang with it for a little bit and make it work for you in the new life. And it will adjust as it needs to along the journey. But hang in there. On the 7th, that's tomorrow, the Mercury portal opens. 2 months, 8 weeks of figuring out the path forward. So between now and the 25th, you're gathering your ideas. Take every opportunity. If you ever say, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I need to know that. Those are the things to follow. So you want to have as many ideas as possible. Like, take someone else's playbook if they've got it, if it becomes apparent to you, and use it to, not exactly, but to make it work for you. And so you've got a time frame to go get these ideas. From the
Panda,
11th, yeah,
sorry. So that's sorry, it's small. My eyes aren't open yet. November 7th to November 25th. You said we've got time, but it's between the 7th and the 25th.
yeah. That's when you generate your bucket of ideas. From the 11th to the 21st, so that's within that time frame, this is also the time where you're recognizing, hey, I learned something over the summer. How can I use those details to apply them to the path forward? And what was that? Then from the 14th to the 18th, the sun is opposite Uranus, where it's moving from 23 to 27 degrees since May to next May. So how are you following up on those conversations from late October and acting with sensitivity to that person's feelings, especially as it relates to how you both have changed in the way you show up? It's exact on the 16th. And on the 15th, when Saturn starts to move forward again, over the next 3 months, how are you discerning who gets it in terms of your day-to-day life and letting go of the people that sap your energy or just is too much time to explain what you have to do? Just for now. It's not forever. And finally, if I can get there, Pluto moves into Aquarius on the 19th. So the systems that have outlived their usefulness will be taken down over the next 20 years. I looked up the date of when it actually is moving out completely. January 20th, 2044. So not quite when someone's put into office, but interesting date. So tips to thrive. Start gathering ideas on how to move through a seemingly impossible situation. You've got until the 25th. Act with sensitivity to other people's feelings, especially as it relates to how you've each changed or how the situation has changed. Starting November 19th, it will become apparent that life as you've known it is changing permanently, and you'll have 2 months to prepare for the day-to-day of that life. Begin to discern who will be part of your day-to-day dream team in this new life. You'll know them because you are easily on the same page. They just get it. And over the next 3 months, you can let the rest go for now. There's a lot of work to do. And I think everyone here, Mercury retrograde is coming. This is a great time now that things have settled down, or at least are a little clearer where things are heading. You may need to adjust your 2025 goals or strategy for your business. And I've got this training on the Mercury retrograde that I'm hosting multiple times because I'm on a mission, not from God, but from the universe, to let people know that it's a powerful tool. Just DM me Mercury. I think almost everyone here has done it. So if you want to know, I'm hosting one on Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. If you want that link, just reach out to me and let me know. So there we go. Any questions? I am a little late.
You're fine. Can you go back a couple slides?
Sure.
And I'll say when. I know the one I'm looking for. I think it was the last of the grid. The one right before this.
Yep.
Yeah, that one. Okay.
I can move this out of the way if
Okay,
you want
got
to.
it. I was trying to remember the wording for November 19th.
Yep.
Taken down over the next 20 years. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
I don't want to be doom and gloom. We are heading into a 2025 where the whole year will be about getting people together on the same page. I believe in humanity. My experience with losing my cat for now has shown me how amazing people are. Amazing. I've experienced such kindness from people who have no idea who I am, simply because we can connect at just the deepest, most important levels. And I really believe that this is what it's all about. And so I'm here to hang with it. Getting up and doing this with you guys helps me keep going. So if you need anything, just let me know. Any other questions? Hope this helps for the next.
I thought your format was super, right? Because I'm always watching as you're chasing it around the chart. You're not chasing it around the chart. I'm chasing it around the chart. But then when you summarize that by the dates, right? So I've been taking frantic notes. I like that, as well as the tips to thrive by the certain dates. I thought that was brilliant.
Good. Good. Glad it's helpful. All right.
So,
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
In a less doom and gloom way, to summarize it, would it be fair to say that focusing on generating ideas, releasing what's not working, whether it's an idea or a person, like really focusing on looking for what is for me and what is supportive, and not get mired down in what's not, because it's a time and a season when that needs to go anyways. So I don't need to use a lot of energy on what is leaving. I can just focus on what's staying.
Yeah. I'm going to tweak that just slightly, Carolyn.
Please do. Please
I
do.
would say environment more than ideas, because
Okay.
ideas, don't discount any ideas until you've had a chance to test them. There's going to be a testing phase during the retrograde where you're going to get to like take your full list and like, how can I test all of these? I'm going to go run this by a bunch of people. I'm going to like throw out some messaging. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And this is where, with Sagittarius being a community energy, a great time to reach out to other people and say, here's my list. What is a great way to test this? A great coaching question, if you happen to be on a call where people can help you. So generate that list. And there are other ways, there are Reddit boards, all kinds of things, right? Where you can get ideas to like refine it. And that is what will happen from mid-December to early January, is you'll have done the testing and you'll get to like adjust and be clear by mid-January, I'm going to say.
Okay. And I also just really appreciate the piece of the tectonic shift, which sounds very doom and gloom, but also the idea that we're releasing ideas that have outlived their usefulness. That feels like a really hopeful lens for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. I love the questions. All right, you guys. So if anyone wants that, Fernando, if you want that Mercury, I know we're trying to come to the training. Yeah, I'm doing it on Friday at 9. If you can make that. I know Friday nights for you probably are busy. So just let me know. Have a great day, you guys. So good to see you.
Thanks,
All right.
Panda.
Bye.
Thanks, Panda. Take care.
I hope you feel prepared to move more easily through the next 2 weeks. And even if it's not obvious right now, there is a path forward. You just need the rest of the year to find it. And if you are ready to see how the Mercury retrograde can actually help you find it, then DM me on Instagram at It's Panda Hershey, and I'll send you the link to my next training. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.